Welcome back to another episode of Backstage with Next Stage. My name is Candace Latham. I am a marketing manager here at Next Stage, and I'm joined today by Janet Irvin, who is our Chief Marketing Officer, as well as a new guest here, Christine Eubanks, who is a consultant here at Next Stage. And you both have a history in corporate social responsibility, which is perfect because today we're going to be talking about why employees are leaving their jobs and how their company's social impact program may be a part of the solution. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have been checking out the trending articles on LinkedIn. I'm always noticing those trending articles. And right now, what's trending is called the Great Resignation or the Great Reshuffle, where millennials are leaving the workforce because of burnout, because of lack of flexibility and work-life balance, low wages, different demands of family and children. They want new opportunities to explore. So, what are your thoughts on what's happening right now?
Well, I think I'll go first. I think that, the last year and a half has trained our entire workforce on how to work from home.
Mhm.
And I think that's opened up some opportunities for people to take a look at, how they might work differently to solve some of those concerns that you talked about with flexibility or work-life balance or family prioritization. And so, there are more work from home opportunities. And I think as companies have been opening back up this year, and people are faced with going back to an office and to kind of that regular in office work style, that they've thought about, could I do this different?
Mhm.
And so I think that is, definitely going on right now, contributing to that trend that you mentioned from the research.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that just time away from people and just having time to yourself made you really, a lot of people just think about what they really want in their life, like what's working versus what's not working.
I think that's
Agree.
right, Candace. I think it helped people like reevaluate their priorities and their values and the things that they want to engage on a day-to-day basis. And I think people are really sort of reckoning with themselves and what they want out of a career and a life.
Yes, that's a great point. And it leads us right to our next question, which is, the younger generation seems to care a lot more about their company's values and making sure that those values are in alignment with their own. And this seems to be different from, the older generations. So why do you think that shift has occurred?
It's really interesting because this came up a lot when we were researching the Profit and Purpose report earlier this spring. And it is like it's very different. So, millennials and Gen Z perceive this as different than their parents and grandparents did for the most part. So, for the most part, older generations expected to engage their community in their off hours, right? Like they did their volunteer work, they wrote their checks. It's good. It's not that one is bad or good, it's just different.
Hmm.
But millennials and younger actually expect more of an integration into their day-to-day life with the way they engage community. So they see those things that their parents and grandparents did, and they do some of those things too, but they also have the expectation that their jobs are going to engage these things. And one, we talked to Ray Ward during the interview process, and Jennifer Appleby had mentioned, and several other executives mentioned the same thing, that they're getting so many questions from interviewees about this very thing now. And she said that's a recent sort of phenomenon that doesn't
Hmm.
happen even 10 years ago. But now, what are your values? How do you engage in the community? These are important things that interviewees want to know about the companies that they're working for. So it's just been a really interesting shift in the last few years.
And don't you think also with a younger generation growing up online and being closer to storytelling for brands and the people behind the brands, I think they feel an authentic connection with the brands that they support and that they champion, and that would just make sense that that would carry over into their, what they seek out for their work life as well. That they feel that they're in a place that authentically connects with their values and lives that out day to day as well.
Absolutely. And really savvy about the brands both the brands they work for and the brands they purchase about what's authentic and what's not. And I think they're really seeking out authentic experiences across the board.
Yes, I definitely agree. And I feel like since also the younger generation grew up seeing, how their parents' lives or maybe their grandparents' lives have ended up, maybe they did see that their parents or grandparents weren't really happy. And it's like, well, we spend a lot of time at work. So now this new generation is like, I need certain things from these companies that I'm working at because this is a large chunk of my life that I am, giving to this company. All right. So our next question is, how do you believe a company's social impact program can help?
I can jump in on that one. So I think just from my experience in CSR roles before that, I've seen programs that are in place really contribute to creating team inside companies and giving people a chance to work. Day to day, they might know that they work with people on other teams, but by bringing people together around something that doesn't have to do with their work responsibilities, they
Mhm.
get to know people in other areas of the company, experience and learn about what they do in a different way, see their strengths, see them, at work, pouring into the community. And I think that creates bonds and teamwork as a kind of side effect of that community strategy that companies put in place. And I think, for companies that don't already have something in place, I think it's an opportunity to build and have employee voice contribute to what they do grow as a social impact program. Let their employees be part of deciding what that is and what that looks like. Whether that's bringing a community organization into the company and creating authentic relationship and support around it, or sending out into the community, but letting employees help drive that is an opportunity.
Totally agree, Chrissy. And then I think the other side of this is, if it's the Great Resignation and companies are also looking for new employees, it really is a powerful, powerful recruitment tool. Because if a company is able to clearly and authentically articulate what their values are and the ways they engage community, that's a really attractive thing for a lot of job seekers and people looking for new careers. So like it keeps people engaged. It also, gets people in the door, and it's such a powerful brand opportunity.
Yes, I love that. And I love what you mentioned about, just it being a plus for new employees coming in the door because so much is happening in this world. It's like we're living in a time where we're living that like a hit, like one day this is going to be in the history books. And there's so much happening in the world. And it's nice to know that you're working at a company that's actually, trying to make a difference, trying to make a change, and not just ignoring the problems that are going on in the community.
The
Well,
last thing that I would add to is, there are so many people that aren't happy in their jobs day to
mhm.
day. Pretty high number, if I remember some studies that I've seen in the past. And so this is a way that employers can help bring some joy to maybe jobs that are hard, or take a lot of just enthusiasm, and employees can burn out, like you
Mhm.
mentioned early. So, if this is a way to reinvigorate that daily experience, then, that's another way that a program can help.
I love that. This has just been such a great conversation. And I know Janet, you've written a blog post on this with a few more takeaways that people can get. So if you guys are interested, I'm going to leave the link for that blog post. You can check it out below. But thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Backstage with Next Stage. And until next time, we will see you later.